We are taught how to make money, how to impress others, and how to appear successful. Rarely are we taught how to master the one thing that silently runs everything, ourselves. And success is often pictured as something external, a title, a destination, a lifestyle. But real success doesn't begin out there. It begins the moment you gain authority over your thoughts, your emotions, your attention, and your actions. Because if you cannot direct your inner world, your external world will always direct you. And that's not freedom, that's survival. And here's where self-mastery comes in. You have to learn the art of successfully mastering yourself. So if you're interested in this idea and want to grasp it, stay tuned and let's delve right in. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cynthia, and on this channel I talk about metaphysics, psychology, and everything in between. As mentioned earlier, in this video we're going to be talking about self-mastery, and I think that's a great place to begin. So what is self-mastery? Self-mastery is the ability to understand, regulate, and direct your thoughts, emotions, actions, and habits towards your highest goals and values. It is not about controlling everything. It's about controlling yourself in the midst of everything. It's the inner leadership that allows you to act intentionally instead of reacting impulsively. Think of self-mastery as the space between stimulus and response. That moment where you choose instead of react. I think the psychologist Viktor Frankl said it beautifully. Between stimulus and response, there is a gap. And in that gap lies our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and freedom. So self-mastery is inner leadership. It is when your mind listens to you, your emotions don't drown you, your habits serve you, and your life aligns with who you want to be. Self-mastery isn't one skill. It is a system. It's a structure. It's a harmony between four inner forces. Your mind, which is the architect of your thoughts, your heart, which is the navigator of your emotion, your body, which is the executor of your habits, and your soul, which is the source for your meaning. So when these things are in harmony, the human being is powerful. But when they're disconnected, life feels chaotic, confusing, and heavy. These four inner forces are the four dimensions of self-mastery. Let's dive into each one deeply. Number one, mental mastery. This is the architect of your reality. So your mind is the lens through which you experience reality. If it is cloudy, everything looks distorted. So mental mastery simply means learning how to think deliberately. And this is how it looks like. So you don't believe every thought automatically. You direct your attention with intention. You train your mind to focus deeply and clearly, and then you question your perceptions instead of being ruled by them. Here is the science behind it. Your prefrontal cortex makes conscious decisions while your limbic brain reacts emotionally. And most people live in reactive mode, in survival mode. But mental mastery strengthens your prefrontal cortex, giving you the power to pause and choose. And there are powerful tools that you can use to master your mind. Number one is meditation. This builds mental discipline. Then deep work. This strengthens your focus muscle. And then we also have journaling, which organizes your thoughts, obviously. And we have environmental filtering, which helps you curate what enters your mind. And then obviously questioning your thoughts. Is it true or is it just familiar? Once you master your attention, you master your reality. Number two, we have emotional mastery, the navigator of your energy. Emotions, energy in motion. The problem isn't feeling, it's drowning in what you don't understand. So emotional mastery is feeling deeply, but responding wisely. And this is how it looks like. You pause when triggered. You understand what you're feeling and why. You feel without suppressing and also without overreacting. And then you process your feelings rather than projecting them. Here's the truth about emotions. They last about 90 seconds in our body, but then they become suffering when we replay them mentally. Emotional pain often repeats because it's never understood. But there are tools for emotional mastery. Number one, you have to name the emotion. You have to name it in order to tame it. Use the pause, breathe before reaction. And then somatic awareness, know where the emotion lives in your body. Emotional journaling, get a journal and just write what comes to your mind. Think, what is this emotion trying to teach me? And lastly, inner child work. Notice repeating patterns and heal them in order to not repeat them. So emotion isn't the enemy. Unprocessed emotion is. Number 3, behavioral mastery, the shaper of your destiny. Your life is not shaped by what you occasionally do, but by what you repeatedly do. Every habit is a vote for the person you are becoming. So behavioral mastery then becomes designing systems that support your future self. And this is how it looks like. You act even when you don't feel like. You keep small promises to yourself. You build discipline, not through pressure, but through identity. And then you understand that structure means freedom. So here's the behavioral truth. Your brain seeks comfort and predictability, but growth lives in deliberate discomfort. And so small habits compound into big transformations. There are tools for behavioral mastery. Number 1 is my favorite, the 2-minute rule. Start small to beat resistance. And then there is habit stacking, where after your run, you meditate. And then there are also identity-based habits, where you say, I am a person who writes. I'm a person who runs. I'm a person who is health conscious. I'm a person who builds connection with others. There is also environmental design, make distraction invisible. And then consistency over intensity. Success is repetition, not explosion. Number 4 is spiritual mastery, the source of alignment. This is not religion. It's simply connection with your deepest truth. Spiritual mastery is about trusting life, but while taking responsibility for your part in it. There is a wisdom within you, and that purpose is not invented but revealed, and that true power is quiet, steady, and aligned. And this is what it looks like. You no longer rush or force life. You listen more than you chase, and you feel guided even in uncertainty. And then you experience synchronicities, clarity, and intuition. Remember, the universe responds to inner order. A calm mind receives better direction. And also, when intuition speaks, logic is not always fast to understand. There's some tools for spiritual mastery. For example, silence and solitude. You need to allow yourself to be in a state where you're just by yourself, you're in solitude, because that's usually when intuition bobs to the surface. And then gratitude as alignment. Have you noticed that whenever you're grateful, it's like your energy gets aligned? And then also nature helps a lot. So you can go out for, even if it's just a 10 minutes walk. Nature is the original reset. You also have to let go of timelines, learn how to surrender, but with responsibility. And so spiritual mastery is not needing to control everything, but to align with what's meant for you. So here's the integration. These 4 dimensions all work like the 4 wheels of a car. If even just one is weak, your journey will become difficult, because mental mastery gives you clarity, emotional mastery gives you stability, behavioral mastery gives you momentum, while spiritual mastery gives you direction. So master this, not overnight, but consciously, daily, gently. And when you do, your life will move with power and peace that feels like grace. Because self-mastery is not control, it's alignment. And when you are aligned, life will align with you. I've been talking about self-mastery a lot already, but perhaps the most important thing is understanding why it's important. Number 1, it gives you power over your own life. Without self-mastery, you will live in reactive mode. You wake up and you immediately respond to the world. Messages, notifications, fears, moods, people's expectations, and life will feel like something that happens to you instead of something that you create. But when you start learning how to master yourself, that shifts. You don't live by default, you live by design. Instead of reacting, you choose your response wisely. And then you choose your direction instead of being pulled by impulse. But it's important to note that self-mastery doesn't remove fear, doubt, or discomfort, but it simply means that these voices no longer control your decisions. You act from intention instead of emotion, from vision instead of pressure, and that is power, real power. Remember, real power is not dominion over others, it's dominion over your inner world. Then number 2, self-mastery creates emotional stability. So self-mastery is not about suppressing your emotions. It's about understanding them and navigating them. Usually people who don't have emotional self-mastery, they become prisoners of their emotions. Sadness shuts them down. Anger makes them act impulsively. And then anxiety paralyzes them while excitement blinds them. Someone who has self-mastery feels deeply but does not drown. They can pause and they can breathe. They give themselves space between stimulus and response. And in that space, wisdom grows. Emotional stability is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to hold emotion without losing yourself. It is the ability to choose your response even when the emotion feels so strong. Number three, self-mastery unlocks true potential. Many people are intelligent. Many people are talented. Many people are passionate. But very few turn that into actual results. Why? Because talent without discipline fades, and intelligence without focus scatters, and then passion without direction burns out. Self mastery is the activating force for potential. It turns ideas into action, energy into progress, and vision into impact. It teaches you to focus deeply, practice consistently, persist intelligently, learn from feedback, and maintain direction. Without self mastery, your potential remains theoretical, but with it, you start becoming who you are capable of becoming. Number four, it builds real confidence. You see, most people perform confidence. They dress confidently, they speak confidently, they post confidently, they act confidently, but inside them, there is chaos. And so that performance eventually cracks. True confidence is not an act. It is alignment. It is that quiet knowing that I keep promises to myself. I can rely on myself. When your intention and actions align, self-respect grows. And it's from that self-respect that real confidence actually grows. So self-mastery means that you live in integrity with yourself. You become someone that your future self will be proud of. And that is real confidence that no one can take away. Then number five, it aligns you with your true purpose. When the inner world is loud, purpose becomes hard to hear. And when fear dominates, purpose becomes impossible. And when there is constant distraction, purpose becomes blurry. When you master your inner world, clarity begins to emerge naturally. And not because it arrived, but because you became quiet enough to hear it. So self-mastery helps you to clear internal noise and let go of unnecessary attachments and be able to see your long-term path and recognize what truly matters. You see, purpose is not something outside of you that you chase. It is something inside of you that you uncover. So I think let me now talk about the practical framework for self-mastery. So how do you train your mind, your emotions, your behaviors, and your spirit daily? So number one, for the daily habits for mental mastery, and I think the goal here is to build focus, clarity, and mental discipline. Number one, I think it's always best to at least do 10 minutes of meditation. And this is not about emptying your mind, but training your awareness. Focus on your breath and watch thoughts as they come and as they go. Over time, this builds mental strength the same way push-ups build muscular strength. Then number two, plan your day with intention. When you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, what do I need to move today? Write down your 3 tasks or 4 tasks or 5 tasks and then implement them. Living intentionally every day beats living reactively. And single tasking, deep focus. The mind is not built for multitasking. Do one task with presence and concentration. That will build discipline, creativity, and high standards for your own work. Even just 25 minutes of deep focus can change your momentum for the entire day. And then daily habits or emotional mastery practices. And I think the goal here is to respond with wisdom and not just survival instincts. Number one, don't react immediately. Learn the habit of first pausing, taking a breath, and then responding. Because that gap between stimulus and response is where emotional power lives. In that space, you can choose maturity over impulse. And number two, always ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to teach me? Emotions carry information. For example, anger is signaling that your boundaries are perhaps being violated, and sadness is asking for healing, while anxiety is asking for preparation. Asking these questions shifts your posture from victim to student to master. But remember, the mind cannot grow in an environment of self-attack. Forgiveness creates internal room for growth. So self-mastery requires self-compassion and not self-punishment. And so remember that Emotional maturity is when pain no longer turns into reaction, but into wisdom. For behavioral mastery, and I think the goal here is to build habits that align with your identity and your purpose. So number one, create identity-based habits. So instead of saying, I need to exercise, flip that and say, I am someone who takes care of their body. This will shift your behavior from effort to identity. You see, we don't rise to our goals, we fall to the level of our identity. Number two, use the 2-minute rule. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but it's one of my favorite things. So you'll beat procrastination once you begin every task within a 2-minute start. So write for 2 minutes, walk for 2 minutes, clean for 2 minutes, because the brain only resists starting but not doing. And once you start, you will create momentum. And know this, once you start, you are already winning. Then number three, track your habits weekly and adjust as needed. So you're not tracking to judge, but you're tracking to learn what worked, what drained you, what fueled you. Mastery is not perfection, but adjustment. Then finally, spiritual mastery. And I think the goal here is to expand beyond your ego and connect with deeper meaning. So the first thing you can do is try gratitude journaling. And I think gratitude is important because it softens anxiety and trains your brain to seek abundance. So write 3 things daily that you appreciate, whether small or big. Just write them down. This will rewire your lens from lack to overflowing. Then number 2, spend time in nature. It rebalances your nervous system and slows down your mental noise and refreshes your emotional energy. Even just a 2-minute walk can reset your entire day. Then number 3, silence and solitude. In silence, your inner voice becomes clearer. Without quiet, intention cannot speak. Self-mastery requires time away from constant stimulation in order to hear your deeper truth. Then finally, you need to connect with something that's bigger than yourself, whether that's through prayer, meditation, service, reflection. You need to remember that life is bigger than personal ambition. This expands perspective and grounds your ego. Purpose flows more naturally when you're connected to something beyond your individual identity. Remember that the spirit is not in competition with the mind and the body. It is the source that fuels them. To conclude this video, self-mastery is not about control. It's about freedom. Freedom from emotional chaos, from fear, from overthinking, from impulsiveness, from insecurity and distraction. It is the foundation for success, for peace, for clarity, and meaningful contribution. So it's important to remember that self-mastery is not about destination. It's about daily practice, about living, about listening, a way to return to yourself over and over with awareness and intention. Self-mastery says that I'm no longer just a passenger in my life. I am at the wheel, fully awake and fully alive. If this message resonated, please leave a comment in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with your loved ones. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.